All right, so we are here at the lovely Fontainebleau Hotel in Miami, right in the middle of the ITAD Summit 2024. John, you just got done doing your keynote address, the fireside chat that Bob LaFon moderated for us. And I have to tell you, there's not an empty seat in the house. And we thought, when we set that, we thought it was going to be a lot. And you packed the house, so it was great.
It's always an honor to come and speak at this great event. This is the premier ITAD event in the world every year. So it's just great to be here. And it's great to be with my colleagues and peers.
Well, and, you've been involved long enough that I think it's fair to say that some of that success of the show is thanks to you and your team at ERI, who contribute, in every way possible to the success of the show. And it's great to know we've got great partners. And so, pivot a little bit, and coming off your conversation, for those that didn't have a chance to be there at the show next year, you're always welcome. But for those who weren't able to be at the show, I think one of the really interesting things that kind of came up a few times is the sort of light at the end of the tunnel concept, as we look at the changes to interest rates and the election coming up. And I thought you made a really good point that, in this little section of chaos we have, no matter who you want to win, there will be a winner, which will bring stability.
Right. There'll be certainty for the next 4 years. And that's really important for the decision makers who feed the ITAD companies that we all represent need. We need certainty so they're ready to make business decisions that will do refreshes, and the refreshes will be beneficial to all of us.
Yeah, for sure. And, I think, one of the things that was very evident from I had the opportunity to kind of listen to your conversations afterwards as well, is there's, I think people feed off of, your prospect and what you see in the future and things like that. What would you tell, an up and coming ITAD or an ITAD who's, in that middle space right now where, there's the opportunity to flourish is kind of on the precipice. What would you tell them to really maximize their opportunities both now and, as the storm sort of settles going into 2025?
Yeah, it's a great question. Build a sustainable brand. Build a brand that you could be proud of, that does responsible work for your partners and your clients. They need responsible vendors. They themselves are under the biggest microscope they've ever been under in terms of their own need to report sustainability, their shift from the linear to circular economy, their ESG goals, their net carbon zero goals. We can support their goals and help them reach them. We can help our clients, but we've got to be responsible first and do great work. And the better we are at what we do, the more we're going to be able to serve our clients, and our clients are going to continue to reward us. Secondarily, this is not a net zero industry. There's so much room to grow for all of us. Collaborating, we can get further, faster, and make bigger companies that we'll be really proud of in the future.
So you talked about ESG and net zero goals and things like that. And, I think for those of us that aren't on the West Coast and in California, right, I think you guys have been on the leading edge of that. And a lot of times it's like easy to say, oh, it's California or whatever.
Right.
For ITADs and companies in the space that are serving ITADs, what would you say about sort of the revolution toward stronger ESG and what do you see is going to be the biggest driver of that?
Yeah.
Is it going to be governmental? Is it going to be suppliers and consumers? And how do you as a company try to really put yourself in a position to be successful as that happens, right, in the heat of the moment?
It's a trilogy of driving factors when it comes to sustainability and circular thinking. One, you have governmental. There's going to be much more oversight of the brands that we get to work with, the clients that we get to work with, and having them, if they're publicly traded, adhere to SEC regulations that are going to be governing these issues more and more. But even if they're privately held, they're going to be held to similar type standards and expected to perform against those type of standards. Secondarily, the manufacturers all are very interested in repurposing as much of the material that they're putting into new electronics out of older recycled electronics and buying back so much of the responsibly recycled shredded material in terms of shredded precious metals, shredded plastic, and putting it back into the circular economy, into their new electronics. Third, the next generation of my children and even younger are really on fire for sustainability, and they're voting with their pocketbook. They really want to buy brands that represent them and brands that they believe are making an impact and not just selling their goods, but they actually care about the world at large, the environment at large. So manufacturers are driving this, legislation is driving this, but also consumer behavior is driving good, responsible behavior in the new shift from the linear to circular economy and the greater sustainability ecosystem at large.
And certainly, even if you're not the manufacturer or the brand, right, aligning yourself in that supply chain, as we see that market grow, the younger generations push, the pocketbook decision maker, the pocketbook voting, as you said, aligning yourself with the companies that are in that position to succeed in that environment, I think is a really key piece of this. And, I'm interested, as you look at partners and, downstreams or suppliers and things like that, what do you consider as part of that, because I think it's fair to say not all suppliers are worth doing business with and not all consumers are worth doing business with. How do you guys go about making those determinations?
Well, we need to find both our upstream and downstream partners that are aligned with our culture and our principles and our mission. And I believe our clients are doing the same thing. That's why, as ITAD companies go, the more aligned that we can be culturally and otherwise with our clients in terms of responsible recycling, radical transparency, good sustainability practices, that goes a long way. We became the first ITAD company that's basic carbon neutral. And that wasn't just done on a whim. That was a business decision because our clients care about that kind of stuff. They've got to report who their partners and vendors are in their annual reports, in their ESG or sustainability or corporate responsibility reporting. We did that on purpose and we've been rewarded for it. I highly encourage other brands to do the same.
Well, and certainly that's, as we sort of branded these interviews as ITAD icons, right? I think that's one of the things that really makes you guys, as a company and you as an individual, I mean, for years you've been sort of seen as the greenest in the green industry, really pushing that revolution. And so it's something that doesn't go unnoticed. And certainly, from a business perspective, it seems to be a very rewarding position to have taken. So pivot a little bit, we talked a little bit about the shows in the beginning. I think, it's always easy to say, well, the shows are a good time or whatever. What is it about coming to these events that, and you guys invest a lot, right? Whether it's through sponsorship or whatever.
Yeah.
But the amount of time, the amount of man hours that you guys give up, bringing folks from the facility here to participate, what is it that really drives you to get your folks involved in whether it's ITAD Summit or any industry show?
Well, this industry show, the ITAD Summit in particular, is very important. It's a marketplace where everybody comes. So we're meeting partners from around the world here, not only in North America, which is very important, but also clients from around the world and clients from the United States, but also partners, upstream and downstream partners are here from all around the world in one place. So although, yes, the investment's real and we do that on purpose, because we've got to support this great summit because it has brought us a lot of value. Even when you first pitched us the idea and the co-founders pitched us the first idea that they were going to do this, we believed in it from the beginning because the importance of getting everybody together in one place is really important for any industry to thrive. The investment's real in terms of sponsorship, in terms of bringing our employees here and putting them up and also feeding everybody, but the reward is 10, 20 times over what you get out of it in terms of you don't have to fly around the world to see everybody. They're all right here. You guys bring the world to us in one place.
And, it's crazy. I mean, the business seems to be happening from 6 a.m. until 6 a.m. the next go around. I mean, it just doesn't seem to stop.
It doesn't stop. And the amount of requests that our team gets to meet, including myself here, is unlike any other conference that we go to any time of the year.
So on our way up here to our filming spot, you and I had a chance to talk about the next big idea for the ITAD Summit. I think maybe instead of us announcing, I think it would be maybe fun for you to talk because you seem to be pretty excited.
I am so excited that it's going to be in Mallorca, Spain, and we're going to sponsor. I'm going to come down there and speak. We're going to bring a team down there, and it's going to also continue to grow the international flavor and the international importance of the ITAD industry, because as you and I know, responsibly recycling electronics isn't just systemic to the United States and important to North America. It's important wherever people are around the world, which is everywhere. There's electronics everywhere with 8 billion people around the world, and we need to do this the right way every way. So bringing the European community, mixing with the North American community, I think is so exciting, and I can't wait to go and see everybody there in Mallorca, Spain.
That's right. Get your passport ready, because we're gonna have a good time and do a lot of business.
Let's go.
All right, John. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. It really is. It's an honor and a pleasure to speak with you. I don't think I've ever walked away from a conversation with you without feeling like I've learned an entire, lifetime's worth of information. So I appreciate you and thank you for taking the time.
I'm very grateful also for what the platform you give me and the opportunities you give me at this great summit, and the feeling's mutual. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing everybody in Mallorca, Spain.
I see you in Spain.